Hey folks, ever been asked to read something for class and by the end of it you're almost asleep? Or you can't even remember anything? That's because your brain's gone to sleep because you're passive reading. Passive reading is where you simply scan the page and try and remember things. It's a very low yield strategy when you've got a piece of complex text that you've got to remember and process. A much higher yield strategy is active reading, where you are creating a conversation with the text through annotation and marking up the text as you read. And that's exactly what we're going to be working on today. As you can see, we're going to be doing some class readings today on the theme of resilience. Resilience is the ability to overcome obstacles and bounce back in the face of adversity. We have three texts. The first is an excerpt from I Am Malala, which is the biography of Malala Yousafzai, who was a young student in Pakistan who was shot by the Taliban for trying to get an education, who's subsequently become a women's rights activist and an activist for education worldwide. The second reading will be Rebuilding, which is a poem from the poem book Blood Dazzler by Patricia Smith, focusing on Hurricane Katrina, the effects on New Orleans, and how people were able to rebuild in the wake of that tragedy. And the third reading is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, a poem about how Maya Angelou was able to overcome racism, stereotyping, and other forms of negativity in her life to become what she was meant to become. So, as you can see, with each reading, you're going to get a table like this with a little bit of background and some links to look through that give you context for the different readings that we're doing in class. In this particular text, which is a little longer, you'll also see the audio of the reading. So if you want to listen as you read, that will be available to you. And at the bottom, something that's very important, the focus questions. Why are these important? Well, we're going to be having a class discussion about each of these three texts on Wednesday. And you're going to be called on at random to answer one of the focus questions about one of the texts. You have to be prepared. You have to understand the text, and you have to have thought about an answer for each of these questions. And you're going to do that using active reading, as we talked about earlier. As you go down, you're going to see the first reading. You can't highlight it or type on it because it's an image and not actually text that's typed on the screen. So to annotate this and have that conversation with the text, you're going to use the comment feature. As you're typing, if you notice something, I noticed, I thought, up, down, both, or why, you can add that to the text. If you have a question about something, you can use the @ symbol and type in my name, and it will pop up in my email so that I know to take a look at your question. So there's lots of different ways you can interact with the text using the comment function. As you're reading, you want to make sure that you're commenting on everything that you see that is significant as you read. There should be 10 to 15 of these comments for this first reading. You also want to take time to copy these three questions, making a comment for each one and responding to it. And that is a good strategy for making sure that you are prepared for your class discussion on Wednesday. One other thing that I wanted to point out, you will not have audio for the second and third texts, but there are still terrific resources that I suggest you look through as you read the text. If you have any questions, you can pop it in your comment and I'll take a look, or you can call me to your breakout room. I hope you enjoy the readings on resilience today, and I wish you the best of luck in this assignment. I can't wait to see what you come up with on Wednesday.